So Hannah from Horror Hour with the Hannahs, they posted a video about how people were critical of them for not being able to handle particular horror movies or particular types of scenes in horror movies. You can check out their video. I think it's good because it's sort of this interesting reflection on being a creator who has a voice and wants to speak, but then someone who's a listener or even just a passerby who scrolled and got to their video doesn't quite understand that not all media is produced for them. But I digress. But it made me think of how growing up and wanting to watch horror movies or wanting to read more mature or adult stuff, I really exposed myself to things that really challenged what I could handle. I've read things like Berserk. I've read things like Crossed. I watched Human Centipede when I was in middle school. Antichrist, I watched a couple probably over 10 years ago. Only God Forgives, or just anything Refn, I guess. And I guess in some ways nowadays, right? Like I've seen Terrifier 1, 2, and 3, and I'm looking forward to the fourth one. But I think as I've been name-dropping movies or stories, there's definitely an awareness that the usage of the extreme material is different in each case. In the case of Berserk, I mean, that's something written over decades, and you can even see the difference of how extreme material is utilized based on the time that it was written. To the point that a lot of the more recent chapters over the last 15 years have a gentler and softer vibe to them, despite the occasional intrusion of more extreme material. Or even in the case of Human Centipede, that film, frankly, the first one is totally watchable, because it's mostly suggestive and it's just uncomfortable and gross. But I've seen the second one, and I despise that that's something I watched. Now, at the time, what's interesting is, watching this stuff, I was pretty flat-faced. It was almost like a pursuit of discipline, of having control over my body, not feeling sick, not disgusted, not reacting, just letting it wash over me. But it's interesting to think, like, is that good? Like, is it maturity to not let things affect you? Especially as a being who is both logical and emotional, and I'm always going to be those two things. Someone who thinks and can understand things, but also feels, because that's how I engage the world around me. It wasn't useful to watch those things or read those things and to kind of just not have a reaction. Now I'm an adult, I'm older, I'm not a teenager who's curious. I react to things all the time. I can react with sadness, I can react with joy, I can react with anger, I can react with excitement. I think that is much more sensible because that's just how it is to exist. Not to mention, that is a whole other world of ways to understand the world by engaging it emotionally, and vice versa. The more things I understand about something, the more I can emotionally engage it. But I do think there's something to the allure of being challenged that some people believe they have conquered by exposing themselves to things that are really offensive or really grotesque or really mean. It starts to make it feel like you have iron skin. You're safe from anything that could ever harm you because look at the things I've watched or read or listened to. So yeah, as a horror movie person, as someone who really likes a lot more, let's say, as someone who likes things that can include extreme material, I'm not unfamiliar with interacting with individuals online and off who are very like, oh, what do you mean you can't handle that? It's like, well, because I'm a human being.